Grand Rising. Before I get off of here, this message just came to me, and it's not this understanding. I have the understanding. I was born chemical, so this understanding is already genetically born into each and every one of us. What is witchcraft? The other day, someone said they had a dream, and in this dream, they were being attacked because people thought that that person was doing bad things against them because they said something, and they felt that they were using their power against them. So they thought that witchcraft was being done against them. And I explained with this truth, because you have to understand that the truth, our very truth, is law, and our very truth is chemical, which means that it cannot harm itself. It cannot harm itself. Okay, so if you are life, life would never harm life. Okay, because life recognizes you as life at every present moment. This is why it says, and the word became flesh and made its dwelling. We were not supposed to call life in any other name. When we called it in life in any other name, it chemically altered our existence to life and turned us into what we created in that name, like human. Instead of being life, we are human. Well, instead of many being life, because they chose that existence. Okay, it's nothing wrong with that. You can be whoever you choose of being in inside of an energetic body. It is witchcraft. It is alchemy. And any time that you break this law, regardless of your knowledge of you being a law, because your energy, which is blood, and because you're chemical, which means that everything that you do in this chemical body, you cannot hurt anyone. You cannot hurt anyone. The people can hurt you using this law against you. For instance, if I have a bad thought, that thought, because it's energy, it's law, it's life, it can go off and harm the other life that you sent it towards. This is witchcraft. Witchcraft is when you use this existence, which is this law, against itself, and you have an intention to hurt another person with it. That's when it becomes witchcraft. Since I will use myself as an example. Say today, if I'm thinking nobody loves me, that is witchcraft against myself. But what is the witchcraft is, how did I believe that nobody loves me? Things have to be done onto you in order for them to become, because your own body, your own mind, and your own soul, because this law will never hurt you. It will never do anything against. Things are happening to you. They're not happening because of you. They're happening because maybe someone does not understand that they are playing with the power. This is what Ephesians 6:12 is all about. Ephesians 6:12 is trying to tell us about these powers. And it's trying to show we send these powers against other people's lives. It's witchcraft. There is no other such thing as witchcraft. Being burned at the stake is just somebody wanting to play God over somebody's life because they chose to do that. There's no such thing really as witchcraft. It is just alchemy. It is when we use our alchemy body and our spiritual body, which is our energetic body, outside of its own life. It is no such thing as witchcraft. Now, there is a such thing as energetically sending powers and forces to somebody's life to harm them or to love them or to rise them. And we can also do the opposite and try to destroy somebody's life and existence within that alchemy. I'm going to get off of here now because my feed continues to be stopped. Only certain people have been granted the authority over life and its existence. And that's witchcraft. If you want to know what witchcraft is, if you believe in it, that would be witchcraft. Someone having authority over life and existence in itself as a whole. existence in life, which is a law and a source nature that provides life. And because life is its own immunity, its own element, its own existence, its own fabric, it would create that always within everyone that it governed according to that law. So witchcraft is taking life and turning it, or which it says, calling it in another name, and taking this power, which is life. So if I am life and I call myself another name other than life, then alchemy, witchcraft, is me turning myself into that state of being. That means that I have rejected life. This is what Hosea 4:6 is about. That means that I have rejected life from living in me, and I gave something else the authority to become my life against me. So life does not hurt us. If you are born in that alchemy state of being, if you are born in that constellation, it will never deny you your right. It will never try to kill, steal, and destroy you, and it will never punish you, lead you in fear, lead you in anything, because chemically it knows that it will destroy you. Energetically, it knows that it will cause you pain and suffering and to struggle. So witchcraft is any time we use our bloodline against its own existence, which is life, and we call it in another name, which automatically becomes inside of us an antibody and turns our mind into conformity, which is an antichrist. And no longer are we transformed and renewed in the state of being of life. We now turn into something that is against life, because we are using this life's immunity to create the evolution within its own living body, purity, righteousness, and evolve the gene, which is our soul. Which is why it says, what does a man profit if he gains the whole world and he loses his soul? You are forsaken from the ability, from the existence, and from the authority to use life under his beautiful covenant within you. And now you must use it in the world, where it becomes a spiritual force that everyone becomes death from. So if no one has told you this on this day or any other day, truth is living. Truth is life. Truth is not a weapon. Truth is agape. And truth will forevermore walk the fabric of this earth in your image and in your likeness, if you become its destiny and fulfill its evolution to all of life. Because one thing, life will not ever not return back void unto itself. And when we use this life in any other name, like in the Word became flesh and made its dwelling in it, you made it your only begotten Son, which means you made it your DNA, you made it your creation, you made it believe it is you now. That will also never return back void onto you. So everything that we do outside of this truth, remember in Hosea 4, my truth is living. I am a living God. You perish because you don't honor my knowledge. My knowledge is life. And because life cannot be used in any other existence but life, and it cannot be called in any other name but life, and any time you call it outside of that name than life, that is what you would call witchcraft. That is witchcraft. There's no way for life to hurt itself. It will never hurt itself, because it could not be life. It would never kill itself, or destroy, or punish, or lead you in fear, because it could not be life. Life can only create one thing. This is why Jesus said, I and my Father are one. Life does not die. It does not. It is eternal, and it will forevermore. If you believe it died today, life would still be here inside of you, because you're still life, but you just call it in another name. If life died inside of your parents today, life would still be here in you. But you don't believe this because you called it in another name. If life got put in the grave today, life would still be here because it is existence. It is eternal. It is immortal. And it is mortal. It never dies. It does not ever not return back onto itself void. Just like death does not ever return back onto itself void. If you call your existence in that name, it will return back onto you in the next seed of life, or the next collective body of life that has honored that destiny. It has already been fulfilled. The minute that you rejected this knowledge, the minute that you rejected this truth, you automatically became perishable inside of the existence that would give you eternity, immortality, immortality forevermore. So if no one has told you this on this day or any other day, this truth comes when it is time for the evolution of life to rise itself back into its own living body, its own living kingdom, and its own living existence. It cannot return back void onto itself, beloveds. Why? Because it belongs to itself. And when you reject it, like in Hosea 4:6, you have to understand that you are not rejecting a person. You are not rejecting a name. You are not rejecting a race. You are not rejecting a sex. You are not rejecting a religion. You are not rejecting anything. You are rejecting the life and the existence within you. And because of that, you have told this living God, remember, you have to ask God to come back into your life. You have told this living God that you do not believe in its existence. So why would it exist for you? And this is why in this third and this fourth generation, you perish from it. This is why everyone who walked through that trinity of life before our becoming, before the humans becoming, when there were other becomings, other whatever you wanted, whatever they called themselves, the Anunnakis, the Blukalakis, the Shiitakes, in all those becomings, they chose to be tribes. They chose to be cultures. They chose to be other names. And the Word became flesh and made his dwelling. And that became the begotten Son. So that became, what is a son? Inside of your mother's womb, that is life. That became the life they chose. And when you choose a life that is not eternal, not immortal, and not mortal, when it goes through its own gestation of life, which is its 3 generations, which is the walk through eternity, immortality, and mortality, when it returns back onto itself as life again, how does it choose you? How does it remember you? Chemically, you don't exist inside of that state of being. Energetically, you've broken the law. You've killed this life over and over and over and over and over again. It's not to punish you. You've punished it. You've hurt it. You've abused it. You've made it struggle. You've destroyed it. You've killed it. You've done horrible, horrible things to the very life that came to give you life. You are the punishers. You are the thieves. You are the killers. You are the destroyers. And yet you're still trying to kill off life, destroy its existence, and it is living for you. It came to have life for you. And steady yet, you're still against it. And this is why Hosea 4:6 states, my people perish because of lack of this knowledge. When this truth becomes available, it will be born again within its own existence, within its own gene, within its own DNA, within its own living body, within its own covenant, within its own walk of life. And when it returns back onto itself, how do you kill it? How do you destroy it? How do you reject it? How do you deny it? The same thing by repeating Hosea 4:6 over again, as the people before you did, and the people before them did, and the people before them did. To come against life is death. To live for life is eternal, immortal, and immortal forevermore becomings. Beloveds, it's so beautiful that for you to reject it, for you to deny it, for you to hide it, for you to kill it, for you to steal it, for you to destroy it. Why? Why? Why, when it's returned back onto you? And it's not just taking you out of your life like many people have done, killed and stealed and burned people on the crosses. And that is craziness, because that life that you took is still living inside of you. It does not forget you, because it's spirit, it's breath, it's living. It does not ever go anywhere. And that you can't understand this beautiful truth, and that you would try to deny it and manipulate it and do the horriblest, treacherous things to it. It just proves to you, Hosea 4:6, it proves to you, you are responsible for everything that has been done. And as I sit here and I just feel my energetic body and my soul and my spirit and my life just feel so hurt by something that is so beautiful, so agape, so loving. And to see something take this into blaspheming this, and to kill, steal, and destroy this, and to reject this, and to hurt people because of this, when it belongs to itself, when it cannot return back void, but because it's just itself. And to know such pain can be put upon something so beautiful, something so agape, something so existent, something that can bring life, and give it on to you in its abundance, and you would take it, and you would take this abundance, and you would kill, steal, and destroy it in your image and in your likeness, just to say it does not exist, which means that it does not exist in you. Because if it did, everyone would have that same existence within them. This is a living truth, a holy truth, an agape truth, and it never does not return back void unto itself. Why? Because life is a existence that lives for eternity. And it will never kill, steal, and destroy any one of its lives. So why would you do it if it existed inside of you? Have an amazing day, beloveds. And when I come on here, I'm not against life. I'm not against death, because those destinies have already been written within themselves. I can't stop them. I can help you see the truth. I can help you rebuke. I can help you rise. I can help you live. But I can't help you die. I can't help you hate. I can't help you reject. I can't help you punish. And I can't help you destroy nobody's lives. But I can help you understand the truth that will set you free. A truth that would heal pain, trauma, and a parish that has already been destined. Have an amazing day, beloveds, and thank you, Marquise. You have an amazing day.